Hello, everyone. Welcome back to First Principles. And we have a repeat guest. How are you doing, Milan?
I'm all right, excited once again, and looking forward to our conversation today. Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for calling me again.
Perfect. All right. So we will dive deep, right? Let's talk about darshans. How do you define a darshan? And let's educate me like I know nothing.
Well, before I start, let me tell you, I don't know everything either, and I just know maybe a very small, minuscule bit more than the nothing. So once again, the disclaimer remains: everything right I say comes from the guru. Everything wrong I say is entirely me. Okay. That's as simple as that. The more I'm qualified, the more I learn humility and take from the guru, the more right things will come out of my mouth. And that is an ongoing process. So initially, there is a chance that more wrong will come out and less right. So discern, discern. And that's why I think it's important that we start from here because the idea of me speaking about the darshan is not to educate anyone about the darshan because people far more qualified than me, they have done this in many ways.
Yeah.
The entire internet is full, and if anyone is to travel to India, there are so many qualified, bona fide gurus, people who do have the spiritual vision, and they have the qualifications, they have the discipline required to teach you about darshan.
Yeah.
I see myself as an enthusiast, and the max I can do, and I think this is in fact a really valid goal, is to spark that interest and inclination in a seeker. If anyone's listening to this conversation, then I would be very happy if they develop a genuine interest in darshanas.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will not be going ahead and picking up a darshan and I'll like dissect it for you like a science. For that, you have systems, you have disciplines. It takes time as well, and that's absolutely cool. You may choose one darshana and then you move further with it, etc., etc. Initially, all I can tell you is that a darshan is something that teaches you how to live your life. It's
Okay.
just as simple.
Okay.
I think we discussed it the last time as well. Any intelligent being, okay, they have a genuine curiosity when they are comfortable. Okay. Schrodinger cat kind of a thought experiment. I don't know if Schrodinger is a thought experiment, but I think it is a thought experiment. So let's say there is an intelligent being put in a room.
Yeah.
All right. You that intelligent being is you, and you are in a room. And let's not even say you, just imagine, because you may also have a lot of baggage, your understanding of the world and the conditioning and the education, etc. So let's just take any intelligent being.
Right.
We put that intelligent person in a room, and we provide for them everything. We give
Mm.
them food, we give them chances for procreation, we give them rest, and we give them safety from their environment. If it gets cold, if it gets too cold, if the being feels too cold, then the room is warmed up. If the being feels let's say warm, then the room kind of is cooled down, etc. So basically, eating, that is nutrition, rest, um, need for procreation, and the need for comfort.
Mm.
All of these are taken care of.
Right.
Now, I ask you this question. This being is not speaking to anyone,
Mm.
and there is no one else. How do you think thoughts will appear in his mind? What will be the first thing this being will be thinking about?
Who am I?
Where did all of this come from, right?
Yeah.
So this is exactly what a darshana does.
Mm.
Not only does it answer these questions,
Mm.
it tells you how to get your comfort also in this. There is an ongoing thing, I think, doing rounds in the West, that Indian darshan is about poverty, it is about frugality, it is about not wanting material, etc. But no,
Okay.
the first objective, the very first objective of the six darshanas, the Hindu darshanas, is the removal of suffering. And suffering, a major chunk of it, I mean, the initial chunk of this idea of suffering is very material. So,
Hmm.
hunger, disease, behavior with your fellow beings, your ability to survive in the face of natural calamities, etc.,
Hmm.
etc. So, darshan focuses on that. It tries to give you the ability
Hmm.
that can help you figure these things out. That's the first idea.
Okay.
The last idea, so out of the three, the last idea
Yeah.
is experiencing bliss, experiencing pleasure.
Right.
So both of these are extremely material heavy,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? So that's why these darshanas, and it's only the middle which talks about knowing your essence as a conscious being.
Okay.
So that's why it is extremely important that these darshanas are seen as practical. There is this there is a stand-up comedian, I think, um, who said, "Acha, I mean, can I speak Hindi?
Yeah.
Is it
Sure.
okay?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is this thing he said, "यार दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है. मैं देख रहा था some बाबा जी was talking about कि दुनिया में ऐसा है, ये अंतरिक्ष है, ये तो मैं क्या करूं? जॉब छोड़ दूं?" And it makes sense,
Yeah.
but from a philosophical point of view, not from a darshanic point.
Okay. Interesting.
Darshana will tell you nahi job nahi chhodna hai.
Hmm.
Darshana will tell you how to get the maximum rasa out of your job.
Right. So don't leave the job. How to get the maximum rest out of your job.
Maximum rasa out of the job. When you start enjoying something, Sagar,
Right.
you start performing better at it.
Hmm.
And finding pleasure in something, and I say this very carefully.
Hmm.
Finding pleasure in something to a great extent is in your hands.
Okay. Okay.
Darshanas will help you with that.
Hmm.
That is the quality of darshanas. I mean, this is the beauty of it, the structured, the centeredness of this entire philosophy.
Hmm.
That is the beauty of it. That's what makes it so special. That's why it is important. I have seen it work. I'm not saying that I'm already a perfect being with a halo that you can't see and I have four other arms that you can't see, etc. None of that. I
Hmm.
am just someone who has understood this through some experience in my life.
Right.
And it would make me very happy if there were other people who could share this with me.
Hmm.
Right. So let's just quickly jump into what a darshana is. Thank you for allowing me to speak about the background. And then I will give a little bit more, but let's first answer your question. A darshana is anything that teaches you, or rather addresses your natural curiosity. When I say you are or you, I am specifically referring to the humans,
Okay.
a human being.
Hmm.
Why a human being? Because human beings are the only ones which have this ability for cogency. Like there
Right.
are a lot of animals that have cogency. They have cognitive abilities. An elephant knows that if I put one step after the next in this particular direction, I will reach water.
Hmm. Hmm.
They may even be able to share it with their other fellow elephants.
Right.
Human beings, they can take this to several higher levels. They have the power for abstract, cogent thoughts.
Right.
They can imagine things in a sequence. I mean, look around yourself. We are sitting half a world away and we are able to talk to each other as if we are sitting next to each other, right? So
Hmm.
this is because of cogency.
Right.
Now, someone may ask, if this is cogency, then what is it that a philosophy does? We are already cogent, right? I mean,
Hmm.
what can a philosophy do? I mean, if there is cogency in the world,
Hmm.
and we do already have the internet, the mobile phone, we have food security, we have, I mean, to an extent, we have politics, we have great democracies, we have all of this,
Hmm.
right? So why do we need another philosophy? What's the point? I mean, why should we study philosophy?
Yeah.
Because there is an innate fifth need
Hmm.
only humans have, and that is called the need for curiosity.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is this curiosity? There is this dichotomy, and this you will understand when I explain it. Curiosity for the sake of curiosity,
Hmm.
as is expounded in the West, the philosophy,
Hmm.
the word philosophy is a
Love of wisdom.
Western, yes,
Yeah.
and love for wisdom. And how they express this love of wisdom is by exercising their intelligence,
Hmm.
exerting their intelligence in the direction of three questions. One is, who am I? Once again, who am
Yeah.
I? Where am I? And what should I do?
Right.
Right. Now, this is a natural tendency for human beings, like we just understood,
Yeah.
to ask questions about their surroundings. Okay. In
Hmm.
the West, they understood that there are these three questions and they should figure this out. They should put their time on it. Uh, Different intelligent people. There may have been many others. We have records of few. They did excellent work. Plato, Aristotle, Ptolemy. There are so many others, right?
Yeah.
In India, however, we had something special,
Hmm.
which the West did not have. It could have happened anywhere. It just
Hmm.
happened in India. All right. So
Right.
there is no jingoism here. I am Indian, so I have to give this disclaimer.
Hmm.
In India, we had something called the Vedas, the
Right.
oldest written books. Now, if you recently watched any history channel, they have gone a lot into aliens. Okay, so they
Hmm.
say Vedas also were aliens, whatever. I am in no position to say they were not aliens. Okay, because I haven't seen them. Okay,
Okay.
but the Vedas themselves,
Hmm.
they declare themselves as a Parushaya. So they are saying that this is not the work of mortal beings. Okay, they have declared it. So aliens, I'm not sure if you have eternal aliens, people who don't die, etc. I don't know if they're aliens, but that's usually not the concept of aliens that we know. But they have declared themselves as Apakshay. Now,
Right.
if you are trying to fix, I like this example a lot. If you're trying to fix an LG fridge,
Hmm.
you have to go by the manual that LG has given. A
Yeah.
Samsung manual will take you only to a certain extent,
Hmm.
right? So if you want to study the Vedas, you have to have that faith in the Vedas,
Hmm.
right? You
Yeah.
cannot take one part of the Vedas and reject the others because
Okay.
then you will get something out of it. Of course,
Hmm.
they are Vedas, they are knowledge, they are wisdom. So they will give you something. But to get to the completeness, the actual surgical precision
Hmm.
with which they can fix your life, for that you have to have complete faith in the Vedas.
Okay.
So if the Vedas are saying they are Parushaya, just believe they are Parushaya. Start from there.
Okay.
All right. Secondly, there is no circular logic because this is the next thing people always say that a book is declaring that it is perfect and you believe in that book, etc., etc. No,
Hmm.
the Vedas also give you the practical filter for the darshanas.
Hmm.
I mean, when the darshanas appear out of the Vedas, sorry, so darshanas again, Vedas they exist simply,
Right.
and why they exist, why this is a real thing, is also explained in the Vedas.
Okay.
Great sages, great intelligent people who read these Vedas,
Hmm.
understood them, experienced them, they then came up with epistemological systems
Okay.
to explain these Vedas.
Okay.
All right. And once again, there is no circular logic because
Hmm.
all six of them, they talk about means to get knowledge. The epistemology is one of the first characters
Hmm.
of these systems. So, just to quickly summarize, you have a natural need for knowing.
Hmm.
You, as in the humans, you have a
Yeah.
natural need for knowing.
Yeah.
All the animals want to know, but humans are the only ones who want to know so much that they will leave everything else aside.
Right.
They have this power. They
Yeah.
will allow their curiosity to guide their material,
Hmm.
while animals, their curiosity ends with material.
Say that again.
So animals, they're looking for water. Once they find water, they are okay.
Okay. Okay.
They'll rest, they'll play instinctively with their people, and they will die.
Yeah. In Hindi, it's
Humans,
santusht.
they are santushta, yes.
Right.
They are santushta as soon as they are pushta with the body.
Okay. Okay.
Humans, they have the ability to understand that there is something beyond our empirical authority.
Right.
This animals do not really show any signs of doing.
Hmm.
We don't know what's going on in the mind of the elephant, a dog, or a single cell animal. We
Yeah.
don't know that.
Hmm.
But since we are the concern here,
Yeah.
this is the centeredness I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Since we are the concern here, since my life as human beings is the concern here, the concern is that my interaction with other human beings is important. I
Hmm.
don't necessarily deal with a single cell animal every day. I mean, unless it's the coronavirus.
Hmm.
But um, I don't have the need to worry too much about what's happening on planet Mars and in the depths of the ocean.
Right.
That kind of curiosity is curiosity for the sake of curiosity.
Okay.
If we start from within,
Hmm.
if we start from ourselves,
Hmm.
that's when all these curiosity will make sense.
Okay.
Even the single cell animal and the depth of the ocean and the planet Mars and all of the stuff that we
Okay.
centeredness is the second characteristic of darshanas. So
Okay.
once again, I jumped into the characteristics. Let me come back to the definition of a darshana. Darshana, you have an innate need for knowing.
Hmm.
This is the fifth need for humans.
Hmm.
All the living things have four needs, including humans.
Hmm.
Humans have a fifth need, which is the need to know.
Okay.
Right? There are Vedas, and these Vedas then are explained by great sages
Right.
through sutra literature.
Okay.
And this sutra literature becomes, when explored, becomes a darshana. So an explanation of the Veda that sates your fifth need can be understood as darshan.
Okay.
So far, we have spoken about two characteristics. One is the centeredness. It starts, every single one of them starts with the soul.
Hmm.
Secondly, there is no circular logic in any one of them because they
Hmm.
are very experienced. They give a lot of weightage to experience.
Hmm.
So this is the second quality. The third quality of a darshana would be that it is based on sutras.
Okay.
This is extremely important as well. Why sutras?
Right.
Sutras would they are cryptic texts.
Hmm.
Okay, they are condensed versions of the truth as
Right.
understood by some sage.
Okay.
Okay, so a sage understands a particular aspect of the Veda, and then they write these experiences in the form of adages.
Okay.
All right. So that becomes a sutra. Now, this sutra, what is the sutra? Why is it different from a book, let's say? Because it leaves the whole thing open for interpretation based on your experience.
Hmm.
A book will not probably give you that kind of a luxury. A sutra is a
Right.
single sentence. For example, yoga is one of the darshanas, and it simply says the introduction of yoga, according to Yoga Sutras, is yogastu chitta vritti nirodhanam. what it tells you is that what is yoga if somebody asks you?
Hmm.
It simply gives one single adage and tells you to interpret it. It tells you to experience it. It tells you to sit with it. It tells you to delve into other literature. It tells you to go to a guru and understand what it is, right?
Okay.
So it simply just tells you, once you try to stop the running away of the mind, that becomes yoga.
All right.
Now you can imagine how loaded that one single sentence is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the mind, it's literally one of the elements of creation.
Hmm.
And hey, you're telling me to control that. And then your curiosity is piqued. That's when your faith is tested, because it's obviously really big. It's a big
Right.
deal to do this.
Yeah.
And that's when it just starts. Okay. This is one of the many, many examples of these almost magical adages, these almost magical sentences. Each one
Hmm.
of them in itself carries the seed for curiosity and realization.
Okay.
Each one of it, every
Hmm.
single last one.
Hmm.
Okay. So far we have discussed centeredness, we have discussed sutras,
Hmm.
and we have discussed experience.
Yeah.
So once again, these are not all the qualities. These are some of the ones that might help you understand what makes a darshana a darshana.
Right.
It needs to have all of this.
Hmm.
Then we have metaphysics. Every darshana explains its version of the creation.
Okay.
Now, this is also extremely important for us to understand. Metaphysics is it's not entirely different with each darshan.
Hmm.
It's just a different way of understanding these nomenclatures. For example, one darshana will tell you that the mind is one of the elements of creation. So one will say there are 8 elements, like
Hmm.
mind, intelligence, false ego, and the 5 gross elements. Okay, so there are 3 plus 5, that makes it 8. So this is one of the darshans. Another darshan might say that there are 7, because
Okay.
according to that, mind and false ego are one.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is not, once again, this does not make them absolutely different from each other,
Hmm.
but there is slight differences.
Right.
There also exists some pronounced differences. Some of them are dualist and some of them are non-dualist.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So some of them will, like, there is this famous painting, I mean, a famous icon in the iconography, Madhvacharya, you will see him blessing or posing
Hmm.
towards the audience of the picture, like this. This
Right.
is an iconography of Madhvacharya, because he's saying there are two.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Shankara, on the other hand, you will see him doing this. There is
Right.
one,
Right.
right? So he has declared that one of the elements of what Madhvacharya is saying is false, basically.
Right.
Okay. Madhvacharya, on the other hand, says that if I can see it, if I can feel it, if everyone around me can see it and feel it, how can that be wrong?
Hmm.
And both of them are highly revered saints. Like no, like a true Madhvist will never mock a Shankarist. It's
Okay.
never going to happen. Of
Okay.
course, like brothers, of course, like brothers in a school, you can have that healthy rivalry. You can make
Right.
fun of each other's things. They
Hmm.
they they do make fun of each other. Like I remember, I was with one of a great Siddha Yogi saint. We were sitting together for dinner, and it's in Bengal, right? So they tend to serve a lot of sweets with the food, and it's not a sham. They do. And anyone who has Bengali friends, definitely claim your share of sweets from them. Anyway, so we had like a bunch of sweets, and we had a rasgulla, we had a gulab jamun, etc., etc. Turns out they had some dry sweet. I forgot the name of it. I think it was, I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah.
offend any Bengali. It was dry. So I ate and I said, Ma, this one is dry. So we were like eating and I was telling her, oh, this one is nice, this is nice. This one is slightly dry. So with a smile, she says, oh, this is the Vedanti brother of the Rasgulla
Hmm.
because it has no rasa. Now a Vedanti will not be offended by it because to
Hmm.
them, rasa doesn't mean anything. They are referring to Ananda, right?
Right.
Now, we as Vaishnavas, we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we will have a healthy rivalry. They are my brothers
Hmm.
in Sadhutva. They are my brothers, and there is a lot that I learned from them. I learned discipline. I learned Guru Nishtha. I learned mumukshutva, which is the desire for knowledge. All of this I learned from them,
Hmm.
but I will still be able to have a little bit of a banter with them. That
Hmm.
is the extent of this philosophical banter between different sampradayas. There has never been, as far as I know, there has never been any wars between sampradayas. Oh no, there is one, there is two, I will kill you and make you one. Nothing like that ever happens.
Okay.
So there is absolutely no record. It is all a sham. If anyone tells you that Shaivas were killing Vaishnavas for being Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas were killing Shaivas for being Shaivas, never happened. There is absolutely zero records of anything like that.
Can I just get a question in there?
Yes.
Just for my, because I think I'm losing you here. So
Mhm.
okay, just some basic questions. Is there any kind of agreement on how many darshanas exist in the Indic systems, or no?
Well, we have lost a lot of literature.
Okay.
We
Okay.
have lost a lot of literature. There is still a great wealth of literature that we have.
Right.
Six of them are usually agreed upon,
Okay.
and out of several others, four Nastikas have survived. So there are six Astikas,
Can you name
and
them? Six astakas. Which ones are?
there is Sankhya and Yoga, and
Right.
they basically together in couples.
Hmm. That's interesting.
I mean, yeah. So it helps you understand them better because one borrows heavily from the other, one expounds the other, etc., etc.
One
So
outsources
Sankhya,
to the other. Like I think yoga
what?
outsources to Samkhya. One outsources to the other as well. My
So
understanding is
Sankhya's metaphysics is the basic of yoga, is the
of
basis
yoga.
of yoga,
Right. 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 Right.
right? Like that.
So your Samkhya and yoga.
Nyaya, yeah, Sankhya and yoga.
Yeah.
And also it's important before I say this, there is no established chronology, by the way.
Yeah. 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 Got
That
it.
is also a Western construct where they try to put sutras in a certain way, in a certain age, etc.
Hmm.
So no, there is basically no established chronology, at least not the Vedas. They have all existed,
Hmm.
and the Darshanas, they were only compiled by certain sages, and
Hmm.
sutras were given. But ideas have existed everywhere,
Got it.
always. All of these ideas, they've always existed.
Got it. Just want to get through the list here. So Samkhya and
Yes, yes,
yoga.
yes.
Then
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying I'm
yeah.
mentioning these names. Let me finish the list and then I'll give you
Yeah.
the background. So Sankhya and Yoga, the
Yeah.
metaphysics of Sankhya is the basis of yoga.
Yeah.
Then you have Nyaya, which is a logical school, the
Right.
school that teaches you how knowledge is gained. Its focus is on
Right.
epistemology.
Right.
Then you have Vaisheshika, which takes epistemology and adds empiricism to it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
The Vaisheshika breaks everything down. It
Right.
it teaches you that there are atoms which
Right.
basically give identification, etc. And I will tell you why that is a very interesting thing. Then you have Mimamsa.
Hmm.
Mimamsa, basically, in a funny way, it talks about the gaining of knowledge, but then it takes only Shruti.
Only
It,
Shruti,
it
which is what?
yes,
Shruti is heard. That which is heard.
Shruti, which is the Purva Kanda or the Karma Kanda part of Vedas. So Shruti also, but Karma Kanda. This is absolutely anti-mystic. Like
Ah.
it does not, it does not, how should I say? It does not rely on interpretation. It says
Okay.
there is a given karma in the Vedas. You follow it and you will find liberation.
Okay.
This Karma Kanda, following of whatever is told in the Vedas,
Hmm.
you do that, and that is going to answer all these things. This is going to help you reduce suffering.
Hmm.
This is going to help you understand who you are. And ultimately, this is going to give you the luxury and the comfort that you need to live this life.
This is Mimamsa.
This is Mimamsa.
Okay.
Okay, because we usually talk about Vedas being the source of all wisdom, right?
Hmm.
So, but none of these, Vedas are very ritual heavy. So this part of this set of philosophical ideas, they address that aspect of the Vedas.
Okay. Okay. So that's the
No
fifth one.
interpretation like the others do,
Right.
very little interpretation, but most of it is actual following the word of the Veda in terms of rituals.
Okay. Got it.
This is called Purva Mimamsa. Why? Because Vedas have two parts. Vedas, as in the Vedas, the ritualistic Samhitas and Brahmanas, that's the Veda. And then you have Upanishadic texts. These Upanishadic texts, these will be more philosophical than the Purvakanda or the Karmakanda part.
Okay.
And this is the sixth philosophy, Vedanta, which deals not exclusively, but majorly with the philosophical part of the Vedas, which are the Upanishads.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So Mimamsa deals with the rituals of the Vedas. Vedanta deals with the philosophy of the Vedas. Sankhya will tell you how to gain this philosophical knowledge.
Okay.
Yoga will tell you how to apply this knowledge in action.
Okay.
It will give you injunctions. It will tell you how to live your life in discipline. The mind is the center. You got to cross that thing out, etc., etc., etc. Nyaya will tell you how to ascertain the knowledge that you're gaining, the knowledge that you're getting, whether it's real or not. How do you actually do this? How do you figure out that the knowledge you're getting is right or not?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Vaisheshika will tell you what is the object of knowledge in the most absolute atomic terms.
Okay.
Now, the interesting part. Like you said, if there is a number of, like an established number of darshanas, like I said, a lot of it is lost. These six, however, they can help us understand our relationship with the world.
Okay.
These six are enough for the purposes of philosophy.
Okay. But there are more. There are more. And do you think more are getting created? Can more get created?
It is rare that someone will create an entirely new darshana independent of one of them, because these, and like I was saying, this was the next thing I was saying, and that's a good question. These six are also not independent entirely.
Yeah. I kind of get that feeling. Yeah. They're very cross-referential.
Yes, they're extremely cross-referential. They borrow from each other. They refer to each other. Like I was saying earlier, the elements of the Upanishads, they remain the same, but then their interpretation, their permutation, combinations, etc., depending upon their focus on one particular aspect of the philosophical inquiry, etc., these things change. But because they are canonical texts,
Sorry for the glitch, folks. Sorry, Milan. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was saying that they're not, even these six, they are not independent of each other, because the source is the one. So someone may create new philosophies and entirely independent. I don't know if it's possible or not, but there is no example. There are a lot of philosophers who just come, and they try to disrupt the market in the language of Silicon Valley. They will try to create something entirely different. Most of them fail.
Okay.
They fail. And also, it is seen as a sign of arrogance to declare something wrong.
No, you don't have to declare something wrong, but like, can you have an like a mixture philosophy which comes in?
Wrong in the sense like declaring something invalid. It's I think I misspoke. It's not exactly a sign of arrogance, but it is not really, it doesn't, I don't think in the modern times it happens. Ancient sages, like I said, there was a brotherhood, there was a very fraternal rivalry. So they will say things like that. Um, but not in so many words. No one will ever say that Madhva is wrong or Shankara is wrong, even if they will disagree, etc. Okay, so
Yeah.
to answer your question, more could be created, but then the root of them will either be these six darshanas or max to max the Vedas. If someone creates an entirely different philosophy from the Vedas,
Hmm.
that happens also in the West. I mean, Marxism has nothing to do with the Vedas. It is a philosophy. It is a valid philosophy, and it's not. I mean, discussing whether it is successful or not, that is a pain point, and for that wars have happened. No, not in India. Once you're in India, you're safe to discuss philosophy. We are absolutely cool people. Discuss
Yeah.
as much as you want, as long as you are doing something. So,
Right.
answering your question, more could be created. Uh, India is a land of wise people. That's one of our USPs.
Sorry, folks, if any of you are believers in astrology, I don't know what's happening. So the planets just, give us some love and no more technical glitches. Anyway, Milan, you were saying that new darshanas might get created, but it's rare.
Yeah, it's the success rate of new darshanas is rare, I would say.
Hmm.
They do get created all the time because there are a lot of wise people in India. Vedas, they breed intelligence, they breed wisdom. The more you read, the more you learn, the more experience you have. The if you don't want to work on what is already given, you may come up with something else.
Hmm.
But once again, this is another important thing. Darshanas, they rely very heavily on something called the guru.
Right.
And now saying something called the guru, not someone just. So someone is how the guru appears.
Yeah.
But the tattva of the guru,
Hmm.
that is what makes a darshana a darshana. Every single one of them
Hmm.
is in continuum with education.
Okay.
Okay, all the darshanas agree that the mind cannot see the mind. Only intelligence can see the mind.
Okay. You'll have to double click on that.
Yeah, so just sit on that for like a few seconds and think about
Hmm.
it. Right, mind is something that is constantly moving.
Right.
It's either in the future or the past.
Yeah.
It's a sign of intelligence that it comes in the present. It does come in the present naturally without the intelligence. Okay. But
Right.
to keep there, keep it in the present,
Hmm.
to keep it in focus, in the sequence of cogency and understanding this entire creation that is around it,
Yeah.
that cannot happen by the mind itself. You do need the boost of intelligence there.
Interesting. Okay.
The guru becomes the source of this intelligence.
Hmm.
The guru gives you that intelligence and tells you how to develop it within yourself. This is the greatest prasad of the guru.
Hmm.
The grace of the guru comes in the form of intelligence.
Right.
You cannot give anything back to the guru.
Right.
Okay, you never can. You can only take from the guru. You can only beg from the guru. Okay, humility, reverence to the guru. This
Hmm.
is extremely, extremely important in the West. And why I do, okay, so just a quick thing. Why do I mention the West so much? Because we are speaking English, and the entire world is kind of slightly Western Anglo-centric at the moment. These ideas which have existed for way longer than the Western civilization, they are seen as alternative. So that's why it is important for me to keep bringing the attention of the conversation towards this dichotomy
Comparison.
of the East and the West, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I have reverence for the West as well. I mean, they have been great people. It's the centeredness. Once again, a little fraternal banter, guys. You have done great job, but you need structure. Come
Hmm.
on, your alphabet is all messed up. Look at Hindi. Look at Sanskrit, right? We have the vowels and the consonants. Even the consonants are all really nicely cataloged, right? It's just one of the simple things. We are more organized. Come on, like
Hmm.
it's just that. Okay. So yeah. So we are more organized. like that. Even in our philosophy, we're extremely organized. I
Hmm.
mean, you know, like B comes after A, and then we have to find out where are the vowels in this entire 26 letters. There is no category, there is absolutely no cataloging.
Right.
Compare that with Sanskrit and you have it. So just like that, just like our alphabet, just like our different alphabets, the Roman alphabet and the Sanskrit alphabet, you can see how obsessed we are with cataloging and absolutely organizing things, because then
Hmm.
it becomes more powerful, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the deal. So yeah,
So it's precision. I mean,
when-
it's higher rates of precision, not just for the sake of
hmm,
precision, but for a certain end.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like an OCD that you have to
Hmm.
organize everything. It basically makes a lot of sense because
Hmm.
these are thoughts,
Hmm.
right? If the mind is just allowed to run amok, it will run amok because that's exactly what it wants to do.
Oh yeah.
Putting things in categories, that's what that's what gives the intelligence a space to move around,
Hmm.
right? Sort of giving intelligence the room to stretch its arms and get to work.
Right.
But that organizing is required.
Okay.
So the guru brings all of this.
Right.
Guru brings discipline,
Hmm.
which is also an extremely important aspect of yoga. Of in fact, I mean, in an implicit way, explicitly for yoga, discipline is extremely important. But implicitly, any kind of study you do, you will need discipline, right?
Yeah.
So the guru brings that. The guru also brings humility. Like I said, the moment you start learning something, ego will come in. Oh, now you know, let's talk. Now
Hmm.
you know about it, let's talk. Let's prove to someone else how intelligent you are. We have an entire website called Wikipedia, which was designed so that nerds like us could prove each other wrong, right? I mean, that's 90% of Wikipedia's traffic, I think. Right? But humility is knowing that there is a fellow sadhu. I mean, he also wants to learn. So let me
Right.
respect him.
Right.
If I know someone who only wants to learn so that they can speak and prove how smart they are, sorry, this is
Hmm.
not, this is this is going to take you nowhere. It is only going to create further confusion.
Actually, it will not even serve the discipline itself, and it's definitely not going to be helpful for
Absolutely
other
not.
true seekers.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. I mean, a true seeker is concerned more about change.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
true seeker is concerned more about the change. A true seeker
Hmm.
is not concerned about how to prove, and I'm saying not in a very deliberately, is not concerned about proving someone else wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like once again, there can be fraternal, brotherly or
Hmm.
sisterly banter,
Hmm.
but um, just just arrogance, that is counterproductive, absolutely not. So the guru brings all of this.
Hmm.
In fact, the guru is the one who helps you start. I mean, mumukshatva, which means the desire for liberation, the desire for knowledge, it depends entirely on the grace of the lotus feet of the guru.
Okay.
You have to you have to humble yourself
Hmm.
and reach out to the guru,
Right. Seek help.
okay, and seek help.
Yeah.
If you're sincere, Guru will be happy to teach you. If you're not sincere, the Guru will tell you how to become sincere.
Right.
Can be a painful process.
Hmm.
Yes. Will it be rewarding? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
A big resounding yes. Okay. So, just to quickly summarize so far, what is Darshana? Darshana is a set of ideas based on the Vedas, right? Based on the eternal wisdom, which help you understand who you are,
Hmm.
how do you reduce your suffering in the world, and how do you create material in a sense that it gives you satisfaction and nourishment.
Okay.
Also, it has the following qualities. It must be centered
Hmm.
for all the darshanas that we have. And I have only spoken about the Astic six darshanas. The other four Nastic darshanas, I'm sorry to answer your earlier questions. There are six Astikas and there are four Nastikas. These are the ones which are which are agreed upon. There can be others, but these are the 10 which are agreed upon. There
Classically
are
recognized.
and recognized, yes.
Hmm.
There are many other syncretic darshanas, which are a combination of different darshanas along with the Puranas. So
Okay.
Vaishnavism
Hmm.
is a set of syncretic darshanas.
Okay.
There will be Vallabha school, there will be a Chaitanya school, there will be a Nimbarka school. There are different schools.
Hmm.
They are syncretic darshanas, like
Right.
the Haridasi Sampradaya of Vrindavan, a very dear, beloved, uh, beautiful community, of music, of love, of environment.
Hmm.
I've never seen any traditional ancient community being so. Of course, implicitly and culturally they all are, but they actually talk about the environment
Hmm.
like vocally.
Hmm.
It is surprising for someone like me, who is a modern educated person. So I usually see only, people on news channels screaming on a
Yeah.
panel and stuff. But they are very, very concerned about the environment. They
Hmm.
talk about rivers, they talk about trees. So that kind of a sampradaya is there. There is the Pushti Margya sampradaya, absolutely, just luxuriant in their celebration of life. Okay, there is amazing, mind-blowing food, excellent clothing, you know, stuff that screams of luxury,
Right.
but they are always conscious of their impact on the environment.
Yeah.
So these kind of syncretic darshanas, like you have all the luxury in the world, but you don't need to kill animals for it,
Okay. Hmm.
right? So
Right.
that kind of they are strictly vegetarians, and they have all the luxury in the world. They celebrate luxury because their beloved Krishna, he is the best of everything, so he deserves the best of everything. And to create that best of everything, you have to learn, you have to be really polished, you have to be really. So this is one of the syncretic darshanas. And then the school that I humbly, very, very humbly subscribe to, with the grace of great saints, my Guru Maharaj, the Gaudiya Vaishnava system, which talks about the love and the humility.
Hmm.
It talks about how to serve, you
Hmm.
know, not just serve directly, but serve the servant of of your beloved. So love in service, love in humility. It
Hmm.
establishes that love is the one thing that will give you happiness, and nothing else can give you happiness.
Okay.
So like that. So there are syncretic darshanas.
So
When they come.
sorry, can I stop you
Mhm,
there? So Kashmir Shaivism, Tantra, Advaita
mhm.
Vedanta, all of these are going to be in the third category, right? So they are neither Astic nor Nastic. They are in the syncretic category. Or you think that
um, yeah, like I said, they tantras, they are not necessarily darshanas.
okay.
They are darshanic in their sense,
Hmm.
but tantra is a complete set of instructions in itself. It is very
Right.
darshanic. It has very deep understanding of philosophy.
Right.
But mm, I don't want to be wrong here, but mostly it is understood that tantras are independent of the Vedas.
Tantra's okay. That's the understanding currently. All right.
Yes, they
According
are.
to your understanding, that's the understanding.
Yes, they are independent of the Vedas. They are not.
Okay.
They're not less than the Vedas. Just to be sure, okay?
They're not
They're
what,
not.
sorry?
They are not less than the Vedas.
Okay, 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 okay.
They are independent of the
So
Vedas.
that
So
I mean
they,
the
they
texts are called agamas, right? So that's what we're talking about.
yes,
Right, right.
yes.
Okay.
The Agamas, they are independent of the Vedas.
Hmm.
The Nigamas will be the Puranas where the gods are mentioned, the deities. Vedic deities are mentioned in the Vedas.
Hmm.
Then the Vedic deities find their way in the Puranas. So like Bhagavatam deals with Indra in a very
Hmm.
different way.
Hmm.
Indra is a Vedic deity.
Hmm.
Krishna is not mentioned in the Vedas in so many ways, like not exactly as the son of Nanda, etc. So that appears in the Puranas. There's the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, there is Bhagavatam, etc. Right? So later on, the scholars did find parallels of the character of Krishna in the Vedas.
Hmm.
But once again, the son of Nanda, the son of Yashoda and Nanda, the mischievous darling of Vrindavan, the beloved rascal of Vrindavan, that isn't mentioned in the
Vedas.
Vedas.
Right.
That is in the Puranas.
Okay.
The
Okay.
darling, mischievous, beloved, naughty boy, that is not mentioned
In the
in the
Vedas.
Vedas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So agamas are you saying it's extra? I mean, it's basically, are they aligned towards the Vedas
Yeah.
or okay, okay,
100%.
okay, okay,
100%.
okay.
100% aligned. They just have a different approach. I mean, the
Different
guru is
approach.
still there.
Yeah.
The sutras are still there. The experience is, Tantra is very
Oh
heavy
yeah.
on experience.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
metaphysics is also there. The centeredness is there. So
Hmm.
everything, they're very aligned with the Vedas. Very,
Hmm.
very. But then
Hmm.
they have a different system. They have a different approach to things. And once again, like the darshanas are not entirely
Separate.
uh, separate, tantras and Veda, they are not also entirely separate. It's
Right.
just that it's a different set of things. It's just
Hmm.
very nowadays, in the our less researched and more glamorized media. Whenever someone says a tantric, we always remember, we always visualize someone sitting on a human skull with chopping nimbus on top of it, and
It's very
you know,
specific kind, like aghoris, right?
yeah, we're throwing stuff in fire, and fire is just glowing and stuff is happening.
Yeah.
One part of the Veda, I mean, one part of
Tantra.
Tantra,
Hmm.
not entirety. Tantra could just be just like one guy, very sattvic, in a very sattvic way, just sitting
Yeah. Yeah.
without any material at all and chanting
Yeah.
his mantras.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is also right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is slightly different. So you have the tantras, you have the Vedas, you have the Puranas, and basis all of this, different philosophies appear.
Hmm.
Out of these many different philosophies, the six are the Vedic philosophies, which
Hmm.
are called Darshanas, the
Hmm.
Shad Darshana, the basis of the Hindu philosophy at the moment. Tantra is definitely a part of it, but when we
Hmm.
mention six darshanas, then it is the six Vedic darshanas, the darshanas which are heavily relying on the Vedas as their authority. That's why they're called Astic darshanas.
Okay. And what
Right.
define Astic? It's not just atheist, right? It's a very specific thing in this when you say Astic and Nastic over
Astic
here.
means Astha in the Vedas.
And Nastic is no Astha or Astha as in belief in the Vedas. So
Yes,
Nastic is
the
okay. All right.
rejection of the authority of the Vedas. They don't say that the Vedas don't exist.
Right.
The rejection of the authority of the
Of the
Vedas.
Vedas. So Buddhism and Jainism are Nastic darshanas, which are
They
also
are not.
considered Indic. Okay. Any other
They
Nastic
are Indic,
darshanas?
yes. There is Charvaka and there is Ajivaka.
Ha, and the
These are the
Charvakas are the
two
hedonist materialists.
hedonist materialists, and Ajivikas that are nihilists.
Nihilists?
They're like,
Yeah.
no point in living. Like, just
Yeah.
beg, eat whatever. Just finish your life. Basically, they're nihilists in the sense that they don't want to commit suicide. Basically,
Okay. Well, I mean,
however,
well,
see that they're
they
yeah.
lived
Go
their
ahead.
philosophy, I would say that. I mean, I don't find many
Yeah, they
Ajivikas
live. They
around.
live.
Right.
Ajivikas. Yeah, they just beg and they live. And I see a little bit of a hope. Just to take a bit of a tangent here, I think this is what makes it so interesting. They did never commit suicide, even though they found life as absolutely needless. Never committed suicide. Even they never even said that suicide is an idea or something. Because I like to think at least that they still had hope. That if you continued
Mhm.
living, maybe you will find purpose. I like to see it that way.
Okay.
Secondly, imagine you're a happy yogi or a
Mm.
happy Sankhi or a happy Vedanti. All right. You meet someone who says, oh, this is all bullshit. No, this means nothing. They were still given alms. The society was ready to accept these lives of the
Weirdos.
party. Yeah, these lives of the party, these people who could suck happiness out of any room. They were still given food, by the way,
Mhm.
with the same humility as you would give to your guru. I mean, you don't give dan to the guru,
Mm.
but if there is a famous guru and his students are coming your way, the gurukul near your city and they are coming begging for food, the giver would give with humility and the receiver will receive with confidence.
Hmm.
Right? That's the beauty of the system.
Right. Right.
The giver will not be giving with arrogance. Oh, I am rich. No. And the
Hmm.
beggar will not be taking with the humility that I'm a poor beggar. No,
Hmm.
no, no, no. He will understand that society is responsible to take care of me, and I have a duty that if
Hmm.
someone is feeding me, I have a duty to give it back to them through my intelligence,
Right.
my
Right.
discipline, my decided preference for studying.
So there's some energy exchange happening in some way or the other. Okay.
In some way or the
No,
other.
no,
Yes,
no
so that
leeching going on here.
absolutely none.
Hmm.
A Brahmin was, that's why a Brahmin, and the caste system is obviously like it is always brought in the question whenever Vedas are mentioned or whenever these philosophies are mentioned. The caste system, there are distortions to it. I mean, you have to imagine it's a
L-
vast land,
Let's
all
take
right?
the tangent. You talk about the caste system and what are the distortions?
So it is a vast land, okay,
Yeah.
and nowhere,
Hmm.
nowhere,
Hmm.
once again, nowhere in
Yeah.
any
Got
of
it.
the literatures
Hmm.
have we said that human beings are perfect in any of the Vedic literatures.
Right.
So for someone to go around and say, oh no, Hindu system is absolutely perfect, it cannot have any problems, stupid.
Yeah. Okay.
Distortions happen, they are acknowledged. I mean, if there were no distortions, there will be no epic wars, there will be no epics, right? Distortions exist
Yeah.
and we acknowledge them.
Hmm.
But distortion of a system is not the system itself.
Got it.
Distortions exist,
Hmm.
they are wrong. No one can say the mistreatment of a lower caste. I hope everyone knows that I'm showing
Yeah. Inverted
quotes.
commas or scare quotes. Hmm.
Yeah, scare. These are scare quotes. I'm scared for saying this, okay? Lower castes.
Yeah.
So people understand that mistreatment of the lower caste
Hmm.
is accepted by no one,
Hmm.
accepted by no Veda,
Hmm.
the mistreatment of the lower caste.
Hmm.
The existence of a caste that is supposed to do the work that is more labor heavy than intellectual labor heavy,
Hmm.
that exists.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not like it's not strictly genetic though. I mean, you could opt in and opt out. There is
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And this is also one of the distortions. If you are acting like a Brahmin,
Hmm.
then you can become a Brahmin. If you're acting like a Shudra, despite being in the family of a Brahmin,
Hmm.
you will lose the reverence that your family has earned for you.
Okay, okay.
Enough examples,
Hmm.
enough and more, and then some.
Okay.
Enough examples. It just happened a little less.
Hmm.
That's why it's spoken of a little less.
Yeah,
But examples exist everywhere.
yeah.
Okay. So the distortion of the system is not the system itself.
Hmm. Hmm.
And give me one system which is perfect. I mean, democracy, Marxism, capitalism. I mean, give
Republicanism,
me one
monarchy, nothing is perfect. Yeah,
one system, just one. Name one. I'll drop everything just now. Name one.
and I think the existence is also not perfect. And the weird thing about
Precisely the point. That's why you
yeah.
need the darshanas
Hmm.
because the mind cannot see the mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
You
So
need intelligence.
if mind could see the mind, or if the ability of ananda or pleasure, like that kind of pleasure, was by default, was the default setting, and for some it is, then yeah, I guess you would not need the darshanas because it's already the default, right? The fifth need
Then
is
there will be
already taken care
entropy. I
of.
mean, then there will be absolute shunya, and that's exactly what the dry Vedantis, my beloved brothers in wisdom,
Mhm.
my beloved brothers in seeking, they are saying that we'll be one, and there is nothing else required, and you will be. They even go to the extent of saying that if you're thinking about it, then it is not it. Okay, if you're thinking about it, then it is not it. And they
Yeah,
also say so hum.
yeah. So
That
hum.
is me.
Hmm.
But if I'm thinking about it, then it is not it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, my beloved, respected brothers. To me, as a person who wants a little happiness in life, I
Hmm.
find it a little dry. Sorry, I would take my rasgulla, even if some of the drops spoil my clothes. I'm fine with it.
So in the
But
buffet of all these darshanas, then what? Who are you? Who do you follow? I'll tell you who I like, but you tell me about yourself first. So like, what are your favorites? Or that's not the
rasa,
right word.
rasa, rasa all
Rasa,
the way,
rasa,
man. Rasa,
rasa.
yes,
Okay,
rasa.
okay,
My
okay.
beloved Krishna, who's naughty. He can be a son. He can be a friend. He can be a lover. He can steal my clothes. He can do anything. So that rasa is for me. Like I want that rasa. And this is why most of the people, okay, this is also extremely important before you move on to the
Hmm.
next thing. When we speak of darshanas, usually these six, these
Hmm.
epistemological, I mean, they have different concerns, but more or less, let's call them epistemological because they are mostly concerned with the nature of knowledge.
Yeah.
So they are brought into the limelight. They are brought in the forefront, and then
Hmm.
you also have the four Nastic darshanas, also for the purpose of study.
Right.
But when it comes to sheer application in life,
Hmm.
uh, rasa is kind of missing. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that. Rasa has to be there. This expression that I am giving right now, I just saw myself in the camera. It is a natural expression. Anyone who says rasa, this is the expression they will give. Human beings cannot live without rasa. Forget
Hmm.
about human beings. Any living being cannot live without rasa. You give a dog the same food every day, the bugger will stop eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will go hungry until
Yeah.
it is like absolutely starving. It will not. I
Hmm.
have done this. Okay. I mean, I learned it I won't say the hard way. I just learned it in a very, at the cost of another dog. I do feed some stray dogs
Yeah. Yeah.
at my place. When they were young puppies, they were stray, so they would get a lot of food, right? So whatever I will give them, they will eat. When they found a little strength, they stopped eating the same food. Every time I'll put it, they'll come sniff and they'll go away. And then I
Interesting.
figured out that, dude, if my pet dog wants different food every day, this bugger also wants. So that is rasa. Rasa
Hmm.
has to be. Happiness cannot exist without satisfaction. May lack of problems, definitely. But then lack of problems is not the same thing as happiness.
Hmm.
Comfort is not necessarily happiness.
Right.
That is
Right.
why our dry, shushka Vedanti brothers, when they met Chaitanya, Chaitanya is also called Shushka Janatadana. So he would actually like, because he's God, right? So he can scold them. I have no authority. I'm like a servant of my
Yeah.
Vedanti brothers in wisdom. Yeah, like no man. Chaitanya was like, dude, where is the rasa? Like, show me the rasa. Like you say, show me the money. Chaitanya was like, where is the rasa?
Hmm.
There's also a very interesting incident, a very interesting legend in Srimad Bhagavatam. There was this scholar named Uddhav.
Hmm.
He was related to Krishna, and this is after Krishna has left Vrindavan and gone to Mathura. Now, Krishna is the king of Mathura,
Hmm.
and Uddhav comes to him. So Krishna is the king of Mathura, and Uddhav understands that he is Parabrahma, he is God.
Right.
Right? Because Uddhav is a logician. He's a scholar of Sankhya, Nyaya, all the Vedas, all the Vedangas, all the Jyotish, everything. The only thing he doesn't understand is rasa.
Oh boy.
All right. So this guy goes to Krishna and he's like, what am I seeing? Like you are Parabrahma and I see you sad. How is this? This is something I don't understand.
Hmm.
So he's like, this Krishna is like, because he wants to, give, I mean, he wants to liberate this beloved of his who thinks that he can understand Krishna just by knowledge.
Right.
He tells him that there is this place, Vrindavan, I was in Vrindavan before I came here. So I am just missing those people. He's like, how can you miss someone?
Hmm.
Everything rests in you.
Hmm.
So are you taking the Mickey out of me, sir? Because like, how can you miss someone? I mean, I am in you right now. This is my illusion that I have a different different entity, a different identity. The moment I am able to realize this, I will become you and you will become me and we'll be one. And there's this. So he's like, yeah, you're saying the absolute right thing. Why don't you go to these people in Vrindavan? I hear that they are really sad that I left. Why don't you go and talk to them and tell them all of this?
Right.
This will be really nice.
Hmm.
So, you know, without rasa, you tend to have arrogance,
Yeah.
right? So Uddhav is like, yeah, sure. What's the big deal? I'll go and I'll be back in like a couple of days. Give me a letter.
Hmm.
He says, Krishna says, okay, you're going, so take a letter along and
Hmm.
tell them that this is what I have said. Okay. You write whatever and I'll sign on. There are different versions to the story, but this is what you write whatever and I'll sign on it.
Yeah.
So Uddhav says, okay, to Nanda Baba, he says that, forget me. To the gopis, he says, forget me. And to all the friends, forget me. There is nothing. We'll die and, we become one. All that,
Jazz.
uh, all that wisdom of the purest kind. Uddhav writes on a letter and gets Krishna to sign it, and he takes it to Vrindavan.
Hmm.
And this is where the story starts. The gopis, they take the letter and they start sniffing it, rubbing it on their foreheads, just hugging the letter. And they're like, oh, like, their tears are like washing the letters away. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, this is a letter. This is supposed to be read. He's like, dude, we
Hmm.
don't read. We don't know how. We are illiterate.
Hmm.
We're illiterate gopis. How do we read?
Right.
We are just happy that this letter has touched Krishna. Like, what the hell?
Hmm.
What are you talking about? There is no Krishna to touch. There is no you that will touch this.
Right. Right.
All right. On goes the story, really beautiful. I mean, I'm once again no authority to share the story. There are great Bhagavata speakers. You can find this beautiful, wonderful story. I think this should be a primer for anyone who wants to get into the darshanas, and this is extremely important. These darshanas, okay. Sorry, before I move into it, the story goes that he returns after 3 months.
Hmm.
Uddhav
Mm-hmm.
returns after 3 months, having met Srimati Radharani, like having met Sri Radha, the reservoir, the source of all love.
Right.
Having met her, he comes back. The first thing he says to Krishna, you are a stone-hearted person. So all goes, Brahma goes somewhere, and the lack of identity goes somewhere. Ego goes like everywhere, all over the place. He comes and you're a stone-hearted person. How could you leave the gopis? What is wrong with you? They love you so much, and you love them so much. They are, what is wrong with you? And all his jnana, it is all just absolutely washed away, as
Right.
they say in the tears of love of the gopis.
Hmm.
This is where the true curiosity starts. When
Okay.
you ask God, what is wrong with you? Why have you left me?
You ask God, what is wrong with you, God? Why have you
Yes,
left me?
God
Right.
the person,
The
God the
person.
person,
Hmm.
God the person. Yes, the person God. Because who will you ask if there is
So,
just the light, just the experience of nothingness?
right. If it's just the absolute, it's too far away. So I need some personified something. Hmm.
Because rasa
Hmm.
starts when there is dvaita.
Hmm.
You cannot have rasa by yourself. I mean, if you're absolutely comfortable lying on a bed of mink furs, and you're smelling all the best perfumes, and there is no one to talk about this. This is exactly how our conversation started. You put
Yeah.
one person in the room, give him all the comforts, he will want another.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
or she will want another. This
Hmm.
this asexual, indefinite, but cogent person will want another.
Right.
That is consciousness. Sat Chidananda.
Hmm.
So Sat is there. It is permanent. It's experience. It is limited, of course, by the illusion of ego, illusion of false ego. There is Sat. And there is Chit. It is aware. It is aware.
Hmm.
Ananda is not there.
Hmm.
Without true companionship,
Right.
Ananda cannot exist. That is what the Darshanas talk about.
Okay. Okay.
The
All of them.
Darshanas will, yes, interpretation of Darshanas is different, but like I said,
Hmm.
When I talk about darshana, I talk from the syncretic group of darshanas, which is, you can even call them darshanas. These darshanas will take you to jnana,
Okay.
all right?
Knowledge. Hmm.
Knowledge, wisdom,
Hmm.
curiosity.
Hmm.
But then happiness, which is the ultimate goal, right? The
Ananda.
centeredness we spoke about,
Hmm.
the centeredness is happiness,
Right.
right? So how do you gain happiness? Some darshanas like the Vedanta and in fact Nyaya, I mean all six of them, they will talk about the soul. They may even talk about God as a person, theistic. They can be theistic
Hmm.
and monotheistic and atheistic like the other four. But rasa, that appears only when the syncretic darshanas happen. And also, I dare say, rasa can appear in Shakta and Shaiva Sampradayas also.
Hmm.
But the kind of rasa that exists within the Vaishnava fold, within the Vrindavan set of darshanas, the
Hmm.
rasa sampradaya, the Sakhi Sampradaya darshanas, uh, that is unique.
Okay.
And basis whatever little I have read and whatever little experience I have been fortunate enough to experience, without rasa, it does not make sense.
Can you define
Curiosity,
rasa like for English speakers? Just rasa.
rasa would be the mellow, the the qualia that gives you happiness.
The qualia. Okay. Very interesting. The qualia.
The
Okay.
qualia that gives you happiness. I mean,
Right.
there is qualia.
Hmm.
The experience of curiosity also
Hmm.
is there, but rasa comes from companionship. Two things that can give you happiness.
Hmm.
Okay, there is curiosity and there is happiness. Curiosity and companionship.
Okay.
So curiosity and companionship, these are the two things that can give you rasa,
Curiosity and companionship can give you rasa, which is the qualia of happiness. Okay.
qualia of happiness. But amongst these two also,
Yeah.
companionship will come first. Curiosity, when directed towards that companionship, that is when rasa will happen. Curiosity for the sake of curiosity is dry.
Okay.
The shushka philosophies,
Hmm.
the things that Chaitanya actually blew out of the water with one kick. I think I discussed Keshav Kashmiri's idea. You know, he was a great scholar, and Chaitanya himself was a young scholar, but a scholar, like a very uh, reputed and an intelligent, a deeply profound scholar who was
Hmm.
gaining rapid reputation in the place. And he was once with one of his fellows, Nyaya students, and he had written something, and he was really happy with it. He's like, "I have written something. This will establish me. I think my life is sorted. Would you like to read it and give me your feedback?" So
Right.
Chaitanya read it, and he's like, "It's very nice. I have written something. It might help." All
Hmm.
humility. He gave it to him. This guy reads it and he throws his in the water. He's like, "Who will even read mine if they know yours exist?"
Hmm.
He takes his compilation and he drops that in the Ganga as well. He says, without rasa, this is useless.
Right. Right. Dry pursuit.
This is what I have understood. This is
Hmm.
what I have understood with all the reading I've done,
Hmm.
that without rasa, everything is useless.
Okay.
And rasa can happen only in companionship.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sensory pleasure, we have a limited ability to draw rasa out.
Okay.
If I gave you the best food, but if I gave it to you every day, it will, there is a law. I mean, in the modern term, there is a law of diminishing returns, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rasa is not diminishing, it never diminishes.
Hmm.
True companionship, if it is diminishing in return, then is something wrong with companionship.
Yeah. That might not be the companionship you're after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why the companionship that is targeted by the syncretic rasa pradhan,
Hmm.
which is focused on the rasa sampradayas of Vrindavan,
Hmm.
that companionship is Anandam Buddhivardhanam. It increases like intelligence. The
Hmm.
more intelligent you become, the more rasa you will draw.
Interesting.
It increases like that. Krishna is eternal.
Yeah.
They believe that, I mean, believe as in it is said, that, that there is this 1,000-faced snake,
Hmm.
Sheshnag,
Hmm.
the reservoir, the Archivarius of all the knowledge. And since time immemorial, with all his infinite number of mouths, he is speaking the glories and the leelas of Krishna, and he's still not done.
Hmm. Okay.
So how can you be bored by someone like that?
Right.
And then he makes sure you never get bored because he's unpredictable. You'll be like, oh, I have surrendered. I have given everything. You're my friend. You're my beloved. I want nothing else. And suddenly some desire in the mind will appear that, oh, this should be mine. And that is where he'll absolutely elude you, evade you and run away.
Hmm. Okay.
That's why he keeps it interesting.
Hmm.
That's rasa. When
Hmm.
two people are there, the unpredictability of the other, that is going to give you happiness.
Right. Right.
So I think the takeaway from a discussion on very counterintuitively, the discussion on darshanas, interestingly, always rests on the futility of the darshanas just by themselves.
Hmm.
They are futile. By themselves, they'll give you nothing. With a purpose, they'll give you everything.
And what's the purpose?
Happiness, companionship,
Okay. Okay.
curiosity is the means to get to companionship and happiness.
Hmm.
Curiosity in itself is not the object. It can never be.
Yeah.
There is this standard, is this ideal in Vrindavan where they say you treat God, you come to the ability, the grace of God, and with the guidance of your guru. That is
Hmm.
once again extremely important. I mean, I cannot just go and start slapping Krishna in the face. I mean, even saying this is blasphemy.
Hmm.
Brijvasis can. People who they do this, man. I mean,
Hmm.
they not like they slap him, but they have the authority. Yashoda Maya can show a stick to Krishna.
Hmm.
That is philosophy.
Hmm.
That is philosophy.
Right.
Gopis dress him up just to mock him
Hmm.
in a woman's clothes.
Hmm.
Like when he was being smart with the gopis, he was going around and dressing up as the tax collector of the king of Mathura.
Hmm.
Okay, and then he will disrupt their walk. He'll be like, you're selling curd in the jurisdiction of the king of Mathura, Kamsa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am tax collector, so you
Hmm.
give me tax. So because he had like an entire bunch of his naughty friends, and the gopis were like simple damsels of Vrindavan, they allowed him to do it. I mean,
Hmm.
of course, there are layers to this Leela because they secretly loved him. They couldn't express it as much because there is a
Yeah.
lot of social foundation, etc. So they couldn't express it. But he came and asked them for tax, and they were like, "Okay, take tax." Later on, they planned an ambush. They found him once when he was alone,
Hmm.
kidnapped him,
Hmm.
and dressed him as women. That you want to dress up? Like, we'll show you how to dress up. They dressed him up as women, as a gopi, and then they made him do circles of Vrindavan. That is God. You
Wow.
don't have you don't have this in dry philosophy,
Hmm.
and he
Hmm.
enjoys it. I mean, if he didn't, he will not be missing Vrindavan so much. You know,
Yeah.
that's the beauty. That's philosophy. Not the dry curiosity. It takes you only to a certain extent. However, if this is the purpose, how do I serve some kind of a role in this eternal loving exchange between Krishna and his personified devotees, person God and other person devotees? How do I serve them? How do I enjoy this rasa? How do I play some kind of a role in here? In
Hmm.
all human, once again, by the way, that is the purpose of philosophy. That is the purpose of these darshanas.
Hmm.
Understand the world. No one is stopping you. I mean, yeah, definitely do. I mean, jnana is like the first step. But understand the first.
Hmm. Well,
The
I feel
next is surrendering to a guru.
sorry. So jnana is first. The next is surrendering to a guru. Okay.
To a guru, yeah, absolutely. The guru will be the one who can give Vrindavan. A guru, you cannot achieve Vrindavan without the
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Are there other steps, or surrender is the last step to the guru in this?
surrender, and the guru will get. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah.
I
Like the
feel.
desire for mumukshatva,
Hmm.
that appears through the grace of Krishna, and then
Hmm.
it is your choice whether you do something with it, or and like, okay, so this is also extremely important when someone says all of this, it's Krishna. And like I said, there are luxurious sampradayas, people who talk about your physical well-being and nourishment also. That
Hmm.
is true.
Hmm.
But still, there, whenever someone speaks about bhakti, this idea appears in the mind that we'll have to let go of something,
Hmm.
that we'll have to compromise our choices and all of that. Bhakti is what polishes your interaction with the world. It increases your capability for experiencing rasa.
Hmm.
Okay. So also, Vedanta also bifurcated in many ways. In fact, from the Vedantic approach did the scholarly aspects of bhakti appear,
Okay. Okay.
right?
So they are still
Studying the
taking
Vedas.
the techniques are being sort of like they are, I don't know, copying them
I
or
mean,
at least
not.
referencing
I
them.
mean, what I'm saying is, bhakti is an amalgamation of all of them.
Okay. 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 Hmm.
So they take metaphysics, they take, but I mean, bhaktas, scholarly bhakti scholars,
Hmm.
they do talk about a lot of scholarly stuff. In fact, there are entire lectures which just analyze in minute detail, painstaking, you know, labor of love kind of details,
Hmm.
these different leelas of Krishna. Why did he lift the hill?
Hmm.
What happened when he just, okay, so he is just looking at Sri Radha. That's all he's doing. He's just looking at Sri Radha in a particular scene. He's just looking at her. This looking is enough for a bhakti scholar to take and run with for like 3 or 4 days altogether in
I,
so
I,
much
I,
detail.
I didn't get that. So he's looking at Radha, and the Bhakti scholar is extracting what from that?
Why is he looking? What is he feeling? What should we learn from it? How can we
Ah, okay, okay, okay,
polish
okay,
our
okay.
bhakti further? Why is it only Sri Radha that he's looking at? How
Right,
is Sri Radha responding to the look, etc., 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 etc.? They
right.
just go on and on
Hmm.
and on.
Hmm.
So let's be absolutely certain. Gopis are considered the Param Gyanis.
Hmm.
They are the teachers of Shiva also.
Right.
Shiva comes to them to learn how to love Krishna.
Hmm.
There is a beloved deity in Vrindavan called Sri Gopeshwar, which is
Hmm.
Shiva dressed as a gopi, trying to emulate them. Okay, the guru of all like gurus, Bhagavan Shiva,
Hmm.
he comes to these illiterate gopis who are, instead of reading a letter, they're rubbing it on their forehead and hugging the letter.
Right.
That is the 180-degree flip.
Right.
Okay, that's the beauty. That is what excites me about this.
Hmm. Hmm.
So takeaway for me, and like I said, I am no scholar who can analyze these for you, and that is a dry pursuit. And also, there are people who are far more qualified than myself to expound on these different philosophies.
Okay. And they
It is
could
the
be doing it with
purpose.
rasa, though, right? Even if it's dry, they
They
might
could
be.
be, yeah, yeah. Like I said, there are so many other sampradayas, and who I mean, like I'm like literally just like scratching or thinking about scratching the surface, and all of this is coming out. Okay.
Hmm.
Also, like I was saying, I mean, people who have dug deep, they also exist. They are approachable. They are characteristically kind, categorically kind, all of them. And you approach them in the right sense, and they will be happy to share. Because what gives anyone more happiness than talking about the beloved?
Right.
You know,
Right.
What gives more happiness.
Hmm.
So there are people who are happy to talk about their beloved in
Hmm.
great detail.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
they will not stop. You will have to decide how much can you take.
Hmm. Hmm.
Floodgates of love open. If you're not ready, you will be like Uddhav. You will
Right.
be like this. Uddhav's tale is a cautionary tale. Don't be
Hmm.
arrogant and don't rely entirely on your knowledge. Love will trump knowledge every single time.
Right. Right. So you have to
Because
know how to handle that.
happiness is the sorry, what?
You have to learn how to handle that as well. How much can you take? How much can you let in? Hmm.
Yes, yes. And for that, there are processes because a guru, once again, is the one who can tell you how to take love.
Hmm. Today, today is the podcast of all these forces coming and making sure that we can speak to each other, but with all the glitches. Anyway, so Milan, to wrap up, I have to ask you a few questions.
Yes,
Um,
please go ahead.
how offended would you be on the scale of 1 to 10 if I asked you, are darshans like churches?
I don't know enough about how churches work, so I
Hmm.
can't say, but, and there is nothing offensive about it, absolutely
Mhm.
nothing. I mean, why would you even say that? But anyway, um,
I'll
Sikh
say I'll tell
Darshana,
you why I'll say that because I think it's a separate category in itself, and I'm trying to figure out is there an equivalency. But you might disagree with the fact that there is no equivalency, and that's the offensive meter. But okay, that was a joke anyway. So are they like churches? Are they like schools of philosophy, or is this entirely
schools of
separate?
philosophy would be schools of philosophy would be the right thing to say,
Hmm.
as long as we understand that they are different, not necessarily contradictory,
And cross-referential as well.
and cross-referential. Cross-referential because they have the same source, so the
Hmm.
nomenclature terminology is the same.
Hmm.
Uh, and their focus, these different disciplines,
Hmm.
their focus is different. They
Right.
do have similar elements. They have the metaphysics, the ontology, the epistemology, the causality, all
Hmm.
these things. That is what makes a darshana because it has all these characteristics.
Hmm.
The interpretation, however, of the nomenclature that they use from the Vedas, the interpretation can be different. The permutation combinations, the metaphysics, the understanding of the metaphysics, etc., that can be different.
Right.
Also, how would you know that this is a Sankhyic thought and this is a yogic thought?
Hmm.
You will understand it by the injunction, the character of the injunction. Yoga will tell you to do something.
Right.
Sankhya probably will tell you that this is it. This is how it
Ah.
is. Aya will tell you how to do something.
Hmm.
Vaisheshika will tell you what to do it with, right? Vedanta will tell you why you should do it.
Okay. Okay.
And Mimamsa will tell you, okay, this is probably what you should do to get the result of the rest of
Hmm. Okay.
it. Right. So, like that, their approach is different, their
Hmm.
focus is different. However, the goals remain the exact same.
Hmm.
It is to experience happiness in the
Hmm.
material world. It is to know who you are
Hmm.
essentially. And the answers are also given, which is the soul. Once again, the ontology of the soul can be different. Some of them say that the soul, like Soham, they say soul is everything and
Hmm.
it is an illusion. The mind is an illusion. It is a mirror in which, identity is reflecting. The moment you drop it, you'll be the one. So the ontology of the soul may be different.
Hmm.
Someone will say there are two, like Madhva, that there is the soul and then there is God.
Right.
Someone will say there are two, there is Purusha and Prakriti. Sankhya says that.
Yeah.
Purusha is God, he is the ultimate conscious being, and then there is Maya, which is Prakriti.
Hmm.
So, when not Maya as in not non existent, but Prakriti.
Hmm.
So, due to Maya, the Purush comes in touch with Prakriti. Prakriti breeds ego. and the Purush starts thinking it is separate from him.
Right.
Sankhya also has many, many egos.
Mm.
Okay. Then ego also is a product of Prakriti.
Mm.
So like that. And this is that's why I said it's dry, because the purpose is knowledge in them. The
Mm.
purpose is to experience happiness. Uh, hap- Sukha is not happiness. Sukha will be the opposite of dukkha. So the opposite of discomfort is comfort.
Right.
Sukha is
Right.
not ananda.
Ah. Oh, that's the reason they have a separate word for it. Got it. Mm.
Exactly. Right.
Mm.
So sukha is not ananda. Sukha, in fact, is sukha and the dukkha dichotomy, which a bhakta just sees as the play of Krishna. Right.
Mm.
So sukha badhyo, ananda badhyo is how they speak in these wonderful literatures. You know, that sukh badha, but ananda or badha.
Mm.
There was ananda. When
Right.
you see Krishna, there is ananda. Sukha to is easy to get. Sukha is what? Just let go of dukkha. Sukha will be there.
Right.
Ananda is there. That's why we speak of different interpretations of ananda. Sukha is kind of a given. When you study these philosophies, sukha will happen. I
Mm.
mean, all said and done, bhakti is obviously the ultimate, but these literatures are sacred by them.
Mm.
Just because you're a bhakta, you can't say, oh, Vedantis are whatever, I will not listen to them and they don't mean anything. No, no.
Mm.
Their stuff is sacred. You
Mm.
have to bow down, you have to listen, you have to respect.
Right.
You see a Vedanti scholar, you have to show humility, because
Mm.
especially if you're a Vaishnava is humble. I mean,
Mm.
that's the first qualification of a Vaishnava. He's humble.
Right.
Right?
Right.
वो सुनेगा सबकी सबकी इज्जत करेगा करेगा वो जो उसके गुरु ने कहा है,
Mm.
बट वो सुनेगा सबकी और सबकी इज्जत करेगा, और
Yeah.
इसलिए नहीं कि उसको it's like a show of respect, because
Right.
he understands that
Mm.
Maya is Krishna's energy. She's
Mm.
extremely powerful. Anyone
Mm.
who's trying to understand her and go beyond her deserves a lot of respect, especially if you respect someone who is doing this. There is a tantric power in this respect. It will polish your own discipline.
Mm. Wow.
There is a tantric power in bowing down to scholars and people who are genuinely studying. This is in fact one of the first offenses, if I'm not wrong. There are certain offenses that are understood by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. I think other Vaishnavas have it also, but Gaudiya Vaishnavas, since I know about them, it is to disrespect people who are promoting, studying, interacting with the Vedas and Vedic versions. So disrespecting them is not only not beneficial, it in fact can be dangerous.
So I mean, in here, so the diversity of opinion and the diversity of thought is pretty baked into the whole holistic culture, right? I mean, they're
Mhm.
almost asking you to be respectful of people who you might not agree with, right? Okay, that's
Yeah,
that's
100%.
that's beautiful. Yeah. So I
100%. You must respect,
you
even if you disagree, especially if you disagree, actually.
yeah. I just I mean, I'm gonna have to have you multiple times here because this is so much wealth. But just as like parting thoughts, do you want to leave the audiences with like maybe I don't know some one idea? So because there were so many things, so just to connect them all together.
The first thing is mumukshatva. Start with it. The beginning is with mumukshatva. Mumukshatva is is the desire for learning.
Okay.
Okay, that's the beginning. If
Hmm.
anyone's listening to this conversation, we are not talking about cricket. We're not talking about cryptocurrency. We are talking about curiosity,
Right.
right? So you are already on the right track.
Hmm.
Stick to it. That is your responsibility. That's the first thing you need to have.
Hmm.
If you're listening to this, then go further. Secondly, satsanga will bring mumukshutva.
Hmm.
Mumukshutva, let me quickly explain. Mumukshutva is the desire for liberation. It's the
Right.
desire to learn.
Hmm.
Okay. So that is there. then satsanga will bring mumukshutva. You do have a preference even if you don't know it yet.
Hmm.
When you do satsanga, when you meet other sadhus who have conversations like these, people who discuss not other people, people who discuss ideas with people,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
that is going to bring you satsanga. Spend more time in different kinds of satsangas and see what clicks with your nature.
Okay.
Okay. And why is this going to click? That is another important thing for you to understand, because you are the Satchidananda soul. It is in your nature
Yeah.
to find Ananda. So the moment you find any semblance of it, you will know this is it.
Okay.
Okay. You will know this is it.
Hmm.
And then of course, the guru. I mean, that's the thing. Find a guru. This is the process actually. The more satsanga you do, the more sadhus you will meet, the more different ideas you will meet, the more you will read, the more you will understand what clicks with you. If you continue with your mumukshatva, also have faith, because conversations like these, I mean, what? How many people actually talk about this stuff in this entire flood of the content
Hmm.
that is available on the internet? How many people even talk about it?
Hmm.
So the higher power, no matter how you see it, okay, as a Vedanti, you could be seeing the higher power as the light. You could be seeing it yourself. You could be seeing it as providence. You could be seeing it as Brahman. You
Yeah.
could be seeing it as Parameshwar. You could be seeing it as Bhagwan, or you could be seeing it as the person, Krishna, the son of Nanda and Yashoda. Okay? Whatever you may call it, that power has brought you here. So have faith.
Hmm.
All right? Have faith. Have exercises on increasing that faith.
Okay.
All right. And find a guru. The desire to find a guru, keep that, pray for it continuously. The more you pray, the more sincerity will come.
Hmm.
Find if there is sincerity. Why do you want to know this? Is it to show off?
Yeah. Hmm.
Or is it for happiness?
Hmm.
Right? So, yes, satsanga is there. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. In fact, this is
Yeah.
good that you're asking this, because philosophy without a purpose is dead. It's not even like dry. It is useless.
Yeah. It's
It's not
beyond
even
dry.
dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
no.
this is the purpose.
Hmm.
The purpose is liberation. The purpose is happiness. And quickly to understand happiness. Okay. Happiness comes from curiosity and companionship.
Hmm.
If you were given $1 billion right now, I know everyone will be like, yes, please give it to me. And if I told you don't spend it,
Hmm.
it is yours, but you can't spend it, would you be happy? Will make
No.
no difference. Exactly. So now I tell you, okay, spend it. Buy what you want.
Hmm.
What will you buy? Whatever you will buy with it, I tell you, okay, buy, but you can't tell anyone. Would you be happy?
Probably not.
You will not be happy.
Hmm.
Probably you will not be. Logically, essentially, it's impossible. Psychologically, it is impossible. All right. It is companionship, my friend.
Hmm.
That is the usage of everything. Of
Hmm.
course, you need comfort. Of course, you need nutrition. Of course, you need rest. Of course, you need comfort.
Hmm.
Of course, you need the health that gives you enough prowess for procreation. But even procreation without companionship is not going to give you happiness. You could have 100 children. If they don't talk to you, there is no point. You could have
Hmm.
the most beautiful, most trophy wife. If she doesn't talk to you, if she doesn't love you, if you don't feel that sense of companionship and deep bonding, it will make nothing. It will mean nothing.
Yeah. It's pretty empty. Hmm.
So companionship
Hmm.
and curiosity. For that companionship, this I think is the formula
Yeah.
which
The
works.
formula for the seeker, which worked for you, and this is what you're offering.
I hope for others as well. And not
Yeah.
just me. I mean, like I said, I
Countless others.
manufacture nothing.
Yeah.
Anything right I'm saying is coming from the gurus. Anything wrong I'm saying is mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So that's the
Perfect. Well, this was beautiful.
idea.
All right.
Thank you.
See you,
I'm
folks.
glad we could have this conversation once again. And yes, all the very best to anyone. May like we have the saying, asato ma sadgame. So uh, the nations of darkness, of ignorance, let all of us come out of it and help our fellow man, and let
Yeah.
Sanatan Dharma, the
Hmm.
Dharma which promotes all of this. It's not a sectarian idea.
Hmm.
Anyone is welcome to this philosophy. Absolutely anyone. From any school, also,
Hmm.
not just the Brahmin schools. Even if an Abrahamic school is talking about love for God and love for the fellow human being,
Yeah.
absolutely go for it. Absolutely go for it.
Hmm.
100% for it. I just believe that compared to the rest, we have a bit more structure.
Hmm.
And it will be interesting to see if anyone picks up this structure and applies to an Abrahamic faith.
Hmm. I'd love to see that project. I
Yeah.
actually, you know what? If I had the money, I'd fund that project. I want to see that
Uh,
comparative study. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I will. I
I
don't know
like
if
dry
I'll
stuff.
have the money. I don't know if I'll have the money, but I'll be very happy to be there and assist in whatever little way I can.
Hmm.
And also understand what's happening. It's always fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Well, with that thought,
On that
bye,
note.
guys. Bye bye.